It's the heart of summer and we're all baking in record-breaking heat waves, so why not stay inside with the air conditioning, chill out, and have an awesome video game staycation. July 2024 truly reflects a shift in the market towards free-to-play, ongoing games as a service, as half the releases worth buying this month fall into that very category. You might still be playing some of these games in the fall. Square Enix's take on the massively multiplayer online RPG Final Fantasy XIV has been a smashing success, so much so that the publisher is finally rolling it out on Xbox Series consoles, complete with a massive graphics overhaul and its biggest expansion ever called Dawn Trail. Take a vacation on a tropical island where 2 new playable classes await to be used for this brand new storyline. There's also something for longtime players since the level cap has been boosted to 100 and there are dozens of tweaks and changes to the core experience. If you've ever been curious about MMORPGs, this is one of the best starter games on the market, and there are generous free trials to give it a chance. While Final Fantasy XIV represents the old school game as a service, the first Descendant is clearly a part of the new guard. This loot-driven third-person shooter from Nexon is what most modern players expect when they hear the phrase ongoing game, with tons of goodies exploding from each felled enemy. You play as a planetary defender tasked with insulating your homeland from an invading force called the Vulgris. While each Descendant is a superhuman with magical powers, what really sets this one apart is that there are massive enemies called Colossus that must be destroyed as a team. Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail have become massive free-to-play hits, generating billions in revenue from their addictive action RPG gameplay loops. The next game from the same studio is called Zenless Zone Zero. It's a more urban take on the formula, but it still includes enough fantasy elements to keep that free-to-play player hooked for hours on end. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic metropolis that has become the last refuge for humanity after an environmental calamity. As luck would have it, monsters and gangsters have moved in, and it's your job to form a party to stop them. It does have a unique look and setting, but is it enough to pull people away in this crowded genre? The Legend of Heroes franchise is one of the most consistently excellent JRPG series, so much so that its publisher decided to create this new spin-off franchise 3 years ago. This is another one of those games that has taken forever to be localized for English-speaking territories, but The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak is finally here, and the wait is usually worth it. You play as a bounty-hunting detective who must navigate the travails of angry citizens miffed over political wedges like immigration, which makes it a perfect match for its morality system. While it may sound a bit dry, characters can turn into demons, and there's an evil cult to defeat. These RPGs are far too intricate to explain in a blurb, so you might have to trust us on this one. Just about every video game asks us to be good with our hands. Whether it's firing a gun, planting a right cross on some goon's chin, or sorting through loot, our digits get a healthy workout. But what about our feet? Enter Angerfoot. This first-person action romp ties your hands behind your back and asks you to get by with those lower extremities. Stomp out waves of gangster thugs as you cleanse a city of scumbags and evildoers. Forcing you to use your feet has also forced the developers into finding extremely rewarding gameplay elements like kicking in doors and giving the crooks a swift kick in the unexpected. There's no other game like Angerfoot that asks you to kick ass, literally. Not E3 2024 is now firmly in the rearview mirror, but there are still some games that made big impressions hanging out in the backs of our minds. One of those games is Flintlock: The Siege at Dawn. This action RPG mixes concepts from several compelling franchises like God of War, Dark Souls, and Fortnite to create a compelling whole that prioritizes action over the grind. Your job is to save humanity from extinction by taking on the old gods, absorbing their abilities along the way. So while the premise isn't particularly novel, it's the way all the different gameplay styles coalesce that is. It's not a free-to-play game, but it will be available on Game Pass day one. When you mention speedrunning, most players imagine a superfan replaying their favorite game over and over again, hoping to shave a second or two off their completion time. Nintendo is trying to change that perception with Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. This collection of NES-themed microgames is like if you played the WarioWare franchise competitively. While each minigame takes seconds to complete, there are over 150 of them to master, spread across 13 different NES franchises like Zelda, Mario, and many more. If you buy the physical edition, you get a replica of one of the most valuable video games of all time, the original Nintendo World Championships. We have a feeling that this game just might turn into something big. College football fans have waited, and waited, for the return of their favorite sport to video games. It's been 11 years since EA last released its NCAA football franchise when it was sued for using player likenesses without paying for them. It's taken over a decade to sort through all the legal mumbo-jumbo, but EA Sports College Football 25 is finally here, and seemingly better than ever. Now the game has licensed real players without sacrificing the modes and features that made it authentic all those seasons ago. It includes all the college-specific quirks like the wishbone offense, the option play, and recruiting that truly set the college game apart. It's aiming to be far more than Madden with a new skin. Capcom is one of the most successful publishers in the games industry right now. Seemingly everything it touches turns to gold as it delivers impressive results quarter after quarter. This ideal will be put to the test with Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. This strange game is a cross between hack and slash action and tower defense. During the day, you recruit soldiers and armaments of war like turrets and trebuchets. Then you set up your defenses along a predetermined path. When night falls, you execute the plan with live-action combat as you escort the goddess along the perilous gauntlet to safety. If you appreciate new ideas, jump this one up your list, and best of all, you can give it a chance relatively risk-free since it will be on Game Pass day one. No one is ever going to accuse the Earth Defense Force franchise of being a big-budget AAA experience, but it has a huge dedicated audience that patiently awaits each new game's lengthy trip from Japan to the West. That journey has finally come to an end for Earth Defense Force 6. This franchise usually prides itself on quirky, lo-fi presentation, but the graphics have been completely redone, straying from the stark realism of EDF5. The story continues 3 years after the last game, but who really cares? You buy and play it to blast alien bugs to bits. The 4 primary soldier classes return for some familiarity, but there are dozens of those new bugs to splat. It's mindless fun, which is a perfect match for the dog days of summer. Thanks for watching our rundown of all the games that should be on your radar for July 2024. While we can't profile every single worthy game coming this month, that's where Sifted.net comes in. The world's most advanced gaming website delivers you a custom feed of content based on your interests. Discover your next favorite game today. If you like what we're doing, head to patreon.com/sifted and give us a pledge. For just $4 a month, you get all our content at least 3 days early. We'll see you in August for even more awesome games worth buying.